Well, I recently interviewed Larry Mazza, who was a hitman for the Colombo Mafia.
Correct.
And he said, I was the biggest rat ever to my family when I joined the Mafia.
You know when I was the worst rat ever? When I joined this life. When I did to my family and the parish I grew up in, the kids I coached, the kids I taught karate to, I'm a bigger rat to them.
Do you understand what he means by that? And do you agree with your situation being similar or no?
Can you repeat that, what he said?
Larry Mazza said, I was the biggest rat ever to my family when I joined the Mafia.
When he joined? Does he mean his personal family?
His actual family, his wife, his kids, meaning that when he joined the Mafia, he put his own family in a horrible situation.
Correct.
And that's what he feels the worst about, not the fact that he had to testify against other Mafia guys.
I could say it in a different way than him. What I feel, looking back from this point and where I am now in my life, and I look back at what took place and the decisions that I made, it was an embarrassment by joining. It was an embarrassment for myself, and it was an embarrassment to my family. So I understand what he means by that. I wouldn't use the term rat, but what Larry Mazza is saying is he betrayed his personal family by joining that family, and I agree with that, 100%.
So ultimately, you regret joining the Mafia?
Absolutely. And today, as we sit here, absolutely. Because what I thought was not.
Yeah. Well, we interview a lot of guys that were on the criminal side of whether it's the Mafia or the Crips or the Bloods or the Latin Kings or just drug kingpins, and ultimately everybody regrets it. Everybody ends up ultimately taking a loss that was more than whatever they gained.
Correct.
While things were great. Almost all of them did a lot of prison time. I mean, you did 17 years.
Correct.
Although it wasn't Mafia related, it was crime related.
Correct.
When they get out, there's no money left. Yes, there's some respect and so forth, but it's not enough to make up for whatever they lost. They didn't get to see their kids grow up like you didn't. They have to look over their shoulder if they cooperated like you ultimately have to. And, the purpose of doing these types of interviews is to dissuade people from getting into a life like this.
Well, I could tell you and any of your listeners that, personally, when you're in that life, you cannot see clearly. And I always use the fishbowl, analogy, because you're inside of the fishbowl. But when you are out of that life or removed from that life, and now you're looking back on it or into the fishbowl, you see things that you did not see back then. And that's where, to me, the embarrassment comes from. When I was in a life, I was not embarrassed. I was just going about, being a member of the family. I seen a lot of things I disagreed with. I did see that, I was not blind. And, but now I'm in a different place in my life, and it's an embarrassment to me the way even myself have acted. And then as a whole, I was part of something that, is not a positive.
Well, John Pennisi, I appreciate you coming in and telling the story. What you had to do was a very hard decision, and it's a decision that you have to live with for the rest of your life.
Correct.
As well as your family has to live with that decision. But clearly you came into that decision with both eyes open, and you understand the consequences of it. And you also understand the advantages that you had to do in order to, keep yourself and your family alive during that time. So however someone wants to look at you or judge you, ultimately you're the only person that has to live with that.
Correct.
They don't. And it sounds like you're okay with your decisions.
I am.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, and best of luck to you and your family.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. And pleasure meeting.
Absolutely. Until next time, take care.
Take care.